Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to the Raw and Wild Hearts podcast. I'm your host, Lori Rising, Star Channel, Galactic and Embodiment Guide. And welcome to today's episode called The Venus Retrograde, BS, and Breakthroughs. Yes, this Venus retrograde that is starting today, July 22nd, is calling BS on where you've been dimming your light, how you've been holding yourself back, and really where you're showing up in your life and where you need to show up in new ways. So we have some big work coming for us, but it's so exciting because we have already been on this accelerated light trajectory, especially since the summer solstice in June of 2023. If you don't have a space weather app, y'all, grab it. Just even having the awareness when we're getting really big geomagnetic conditions and changes happening on the earth is good to know that that might be the symptoms that you're feeling. And we have practical tools to work with that, right? You might be feeling dehydrated, headaches, muscle fatigue, fuzzy, right? A little hazy in your thoughts. And sometimes we just need to do some breath work, clear it out. We need to move our body. We need to drink extra water. We need to get extra sleep and get out of the hustle and grind. And that will actually renew us and create more of the space to complete whatever task it is that's in front of us. So it's so important that we realize that when these little human bodies are doing big jobs of working to integrate the light, we've got to help them because we're so used to bypassing the messages of our body that we actually create so much more time and effort in where source energy and our higher self, our ancestors, our guides, like where they're actually helping us to go. And when we have more of that light integration, we get the messages. We're living from that light. Our cells are dancing and they are opening to that ancient encoded wisdom that we all were born with. So, Space Weather app, it's amazing. We've got a lot to get into today, but first, I just want to welcome you to the podcast. If you're new here, we are so excited that you're joining the community. Definitely go back through the library and check out old episodes. They are going to help you in this retrograde excavation, and they're going to catapult you on the other side to bigger places of your light body and emanation in this human journey. Definitely hit the subscribe button. I would love your star rating and review. I've gotten a couple of new ones lately. And y'all, I have to tell you, for all of us content creators out here, when we share free transmissions and content, that's really what fuels us to keep us going. We don't know if you're out there listening and getting the support and guidance unless you share that with us as well. So keep them coming. And if you're on YouTube, hi there. Definitely hit the subscribe button and the notification bell because I'm doing a huge 1K giveaway and we are almost there. So, all right, this Venus retrograde begins on July 22nd, like I said, at 6:33 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And it's going from 28 degrees of Leo back to 12 degrees of Leo. Okay, so if you have your astrology natal chart, grab it. If you don't, why not? Get one, go to astro.com. They're all over. You can get them everywhere at this point. And you want to locate the house or houses that Leo is in from those degree points, between those degree points, because those houses are going to be the areas of your life that you're being asked to work deeper with in these energy signatures. Okay. Now, if you don't really know what I'm talking about, there's lots of ways to learn more about it all over the internet, but also a great way to do it is to book an astrology reading. And my 1K giveaway is a 90-minute astrology and Akashic Records reading. It's no basic astrology reading. There's so much more that goes into it. And that's worth $250 and it is priceless. But if you don't want to wait to see if your name is on that giveaway, just go ahead and book a reading with me now. My books are open until I do this rebirth in the fall, and I'm not sure where that will land at that point. I would love to drop in. People are changing in light moments when they hear these energy potentials. Their cells wake up to them, and they're taking the inspired and aligned action. Okay, so the retrograde energy to me is really about excavation. It's asking you, What are you finally ready to excavate? Like that loop or that trigger that keeps coming back in your life. Even if you heal it once but you haven't gotten to the root, it's coming back in another experience or in another relationship. So this is our invitation. The planets are saying, hey, let's take some time here. I'm going to help you out and slow things down and show you some things, bring them to the surface a little bit more so we can co-create in this deep place of permanent evolution and change here so that you can accelerate and you can get more into your multidimensional self and living. And that's a little different than eclipse energy. Eclipse energy is where, it's just going to bring up what needs to be revealed, ready or not. This is more of a like personal invitation, and especially in the personal planet retrogrades. So Venus only retrogrades every 18 months. So it's a pretty big deal. Like it's saying a big hello to you when it does, because it's not really that normalized in our experience like a Mercury retrograde is, right? So it's an extra opportunity to work with these energies. And Venus is a feminine energy. It's how we receive. It's about relationships. It's about love. How do you share love? How do you want to be loved? What is that giving and receiving energy and exchange look like for you? Is there an imbalance in it? For many of us, there is. We've learned to give, but we haven't necessarily learned to receive in this really beautiful, like elevated energy. I know I've been working on that for several years, and I'm seeing huge changes in my life and in my belief in what's possible for me as I continue to open that well of receiving within myself. As we move deeper into the age of Aquarius, this really is about deep connections personally in the collective from a place of sovereignty, from this place of centeredness and deep self-love, not from a place of self-sacrifice. We're going to get more into that in a little bit because that has to do with the nodes. But also with the Venus signature, it's about beauty. It's about pleasure, right? Like our pleasure principle has gotten very, very skewed in the collective narrative that's been running. And it is absolutely time to flip that script, because the more that we understand like how we run in that pleasure space with just our daily moments, with nature, with sounds, with our tactile senses, that gets us so much deeper into our knowingness, our intuition, and saying yes to the messages that are coming through. And it's also about value. How do you value each of these experiences in your life, and where do you place value? And this can even have a little subsect of money, right? Because Venus rules Taurus, and Taurus is all about our money and our finances and our resources, but that's also about the inner resources and really having a very balanced energy in what that means and what is the most important piece in that, and how do we bring resources in from the ultimate centeredness, from our ultimate innate knowingness and guidance. So it also rules Libra, and Libra is now in the South Node. And Libra's biggest signature is relationship, but it's also self-sacrifice. And we've been taught so much of that self-sacrifice as well. And this Venus retrograde in Leo is giving you the oomph, the extra like boost to drop into the deepest places of self-love and stop sacrificing yourself, and realizing that when you fill your cup and you're well up, then you are fully available for very dynamic, very aligned relationships. And there's no more of that push-pull or even that I'm right, you're wrong. You get to be in this really elevated space where you understand everybody's here to have their own journey and experience and their own reflection work, and that you're actually there as a mirror. You're not looking for something outside of yourself to create balance and safety and security, because you found it within. Okay, so then let's talk about the Leo signature real quick. And Leo is all about self-love, confidence, your lion heart, a heart-led life, the courage to do that. Like, how do you find that bravery to stand up in all of your regal power and say, this is what I'm doing, and I am absolutely going to go to where no one else has gone before, and I'm going to go to where I've not even gone before, because I have the strength. Think of a lion, right? With the strength and just like the majestic energy of a lion. And they just go. They do it, but they also rest and they also play. So how are you dropping into spaces of play and joy in your life? And how is that actually leading where you go in every other area? Because when we realize that when we find that inner child, we actually find more of that innate guidance. We hear the messages because kids are in the moment. They're in whatever's in front of them, and they're looking to have more joy and pleasure in their life. And often the thing that mucks that up for them is the adult, because we want them to do what we need them to do for our lives to work okay, right? At least that's how we often see it. But this is just, it's such a beautiful, I feel it as like this reorganization of what holds the most empowerment for us. And it's your heart, it's your pelvic bowl, it's your creation energy, which is your imagination, which is what kids run on, they're fueled by. And it's your courage to enact that imagination without needing any kind of validation or reference around you for it. So this really is about how are you or aren't you shining your light? Where are you holding yourself back? And how are you not standing up and finding the courage to take those big, bold moves, and also find the trust that those moves are going to be exactly what leads you to the ascension or the evolution. And actually, those moves are what leads everyone around you to higher growth in their own journey. Even if it doesn't look like what you're holding on to as the expected outcome or the controlled outcome. Okay, so this also moves us to your desires and dreams and the manifestation reality that's becoming more normalized for us. Y'all, we are here now. We chose to come in now to do the deepest root transformational work for our real manifestation reality, because we've heard about manifestation and now we're starting to experience it, but we're still in this, what we've learned and gotten programmed in, and we're moving towards the magic that we actually came here to produce and create in what we've not known. So where I want to go with this in this Venus retrograde, which is 40 days and 40 nights, almost 6 weeks, is I want to invite you into a full nervous system reset. Now, there's a reason that we hear a lot about 40 days and 40 nights. And there's a reason that when I taught childbirth, I would invite parents to wait to bring their babies out into the world for 6 weeks, because it takes that time to nurture a nervous system, to create safety and trust in the nervous system, which also creates confidence and deep places of self-love and guidance. The way that we've been running is we've been assaulting babies' nervous systems from the time that they're in the womb, before they're even born, but absolutely during their birth. I often tell people in my containers, look at how a culture births and dies, and you will see how connected they are to nature and how aligned they are in their higher consciousness. Yeah, so I'm just going to give you a moment to feel into that, because we are a culture that completely disempowers our birthing mothers and the babies that are coming into the world, and we're assaulting nervous systems. And that is just continuing on from when a baby comes into the world and they're being taken out into all these loud noises and all this energy. And honestly, babies' language is energy. They are picking up on everything that's around them. We're the ones that are so dang dependent on language, and we have this like reliance on language being how we process anything. But y'all, we are energy before we're any of the constructs that we have created in society and in humanity, because we didn't have them when we first came in and came to be. So this can be a grand time of just relentlessly saying yes to your nervous system. So as soon as you feel that stress, the tension, the trigger, the imbalance, even the ego rearing up, I want you to let yourself pause, take a breath, and change your environment. Disconnect, give yourself time, believe in time. Stop having this time construct that rules you. And know that if you take yourself out of that environment and let your nervous system come back to safety and ease and trust, that's going to give you the messages of what the lesson and learning was there. But if you stay in that imbalance or disconnect, it's going to keep you in that tension or resistance, and you're not going to be able to hear the messages. You're not going to listen to the body consciousness, and you're going to continue to tell your own guidance system that you don't trust it, that you're going to bypass it, that you're going to ignore it, and you're going to power through it. And you're going to get your way. And that just keeps us feeding into this trigger loop that I'm talking about. So this is where I just want to believe in time. Give yourself the 6 weeks. And every time, shift, transform, unplug, unentangle, get soft, and see what happens. See how you can come back in a new energy with new knowledge, new messages that your cells have shared with you. And then you can have a constructive conversation, an elevated conversation where everybody finds that healing or that growth. Well, and that growth. And then see how things bloom from there. So this is how we get to the root. So can you pinky swear promise me? You're going to do it? Yeah? I'm going to do it too. I've been doing it a lot lately, and sometimes I fall off because we are so conditioned in this space of stress. It's so normalized in our life that it's just easy to tap in because that's what the collective is also running on. And that reminds me, Venus is also like the collective narrative, right? It's the dominant energy of society that we just kind of go along with because it's easy. And it's different than laws or rules that are written. So what's most important here as you're doing this deep nervous system reset is to know that wherever you put your attention, your belief, and your energy is going to be what is created in your world. So if you continue to put that into that imbalance, that trigger, the wound, or the I'm right, you're wrong, that's going to be what you continue to create in your world. And that's going to continue to create the stress, the tension, and the resistance. So when we create more of this ripple effect where we realize that when we stop plugging in to systems that we know are unhealthy, that we know are disempowering, that we know at the root are corrupt and full of greed and anger even, and they have never been a source of healing or empowerment for humanity, but yet we still subscribe to them even if we don't believe in them, we continue to empower them. It's not even our dollars. It's our attention and our belief. If we all start moving towards these systems that are popping up, right, from grassroots, from communities, from that place of benevolence and love, from the place of empowerment of humanity and equality and abundance, then those are going to get a lot of energy and a lot of strength very quickly, and the others are just going to go away. I know it sounds wild, right? Because it feels like, oh, we have to go through all these processes and laws and everything in order to get to that point. No, that's how powerful we are. Our biggest power is us working together as a collective in energy. So this is going to be an exciting 6 weeks. I want to hear from you on the end. I want to know how your life changed without you having to like force the change or figure the change out, just by saying yes to your body consciousness, saying yes to the innate guidance system that came in to keep you well and honestly keep you safe, which means that you only drop into that fight, flight, freeze, or fawn space, nervous system, the sympathetic nervous system, 2 to 5% of your life when it's actually necessary, when it needs to save you physically. Yeah, it's really, really powerful. Okay, so Nervous system reset, here we come. And with that, when you realize there's going to be an automatic unfolding there, when you realize that your nervous system is so powerful and this body is so special, and it's actually the conduit to how you create a life without efforting and without forcing it and without the, tension and grind. And you start to enjoy every area of your life that includes relationships, location, work, like everything. You're going to fall deeper in love with yourself. And when we relentlessly love ourselves and our choice to take this mission and to do the root transformational work right now, we're unstoppable. Nothing can sway us. Nothing can control us through emotional manipulation and fear. Nothing can sell to us and tell us we're less than or not worthy because we need to buy a product to be better, to feel better, to look better. Y'all, I'm here for it. Like, I want to experience this in this physical iteration. So I'm like, let's go. So like I said, this Venus retrograde is going to be working with now the North Node in Aries in big ways, right? This is trining the North Node in Aries, which is very harmonious energy. And we don't actually have to work at that. We don't have to, find how to work between the two energies. They're just going to show up and give us those blessings. So the North Node in Aries is all about confidence. It's about releasing that filter. It's almost like I see it as this cloak of a filter that's been holding us back. And as you release that and it drops away, it's like you're going to breathe in deeper ways. You're going to find this place of liberation and freedom. And you're going to say yes to the life that's been tapping on your soul that you've been holding yourself back from because it's only for other people, or you had what seemed like failure and so you gave up, or you see everybody else doing it easily and it's so hard for you, right? Like all of those things are going to melt away because you're going to find the way that you pioneer things. You're going to be the maverick of your life. These are the Aries energies. You are going to go for it and then you're going to figure it out because that's the guidance system that helps us. And there's going to be no more fear of being out on that ledge on your own. So let yourself drop into the body consciousness of this as well. Like listen to the messages, whatever it is, the pain, the stress, the tension, the hit, the like little voice, or, the desire to not self-sacrifice anymore, to actually like take the day off, to read a good book, to be in nature, to get the massage, like whatever it is, to go find your friends and have joy and laughter and stop trying to hit that deadline and know that the joy and laughter is going to produce for the deadline in moments, in light seconds. Find that trust. In a soft nervous system, you have trust and you get to live your life in a whole new expansive way. Now, this is also trining Chiron in Aries, which is going to be retrograde. So that's extra availability to work. And the Chiron in Aries signature is really like how our physical body comes into the world, right? This is about your gut instinct, your intuition, and following it and not coming up into the over-analyzing, overthinking mind and creating all the what ifs and basing your inaction on what you've experienced before and the fear of what might happen in the future. Base your action on just that full message that's coming through. And this is going to be taking us further into our psychic strength, our telepathic abilities, and more of that trust when those messages come through. This is how I teach in my containers. They come through quickly. They don't linger. It's the over-rationalizing mind that lingers, right? So let yourself drop into that inspired action and just reap the limitless possibilities that come in from there that you never would have figured out or thought of in your linear path or that controlled outcome. So hold the dream and desire and let the journey unfold in beautiful, profound ways. This is the manifestation unfolding in practice. So I want to get rid of the buzzword of manifestation, which is just think a good thought and then it happens. We actually have to understand the root of that, which is why I am offering another free Manifest Like a Champ Masterclass. I had my first one in July and we had a blast and I filled it with all kinds of nuggets and goodies. If you were there, come to this one because I'm going to keep leveling them up and I'm going to keep refining them. And it's a good time to just keep normalizing this in your experience. We practice anything. So come back to the class. It's free and practice again. Hear the messages again and get it more imprinted in your cells instead of the old way of controlling and pushing and grinding that has been normalized in your experience. So head to the link below, sign up. I can't wait to see you there. It is just, this is what we need to keep holding in the field so it becomes more of the ripple effect. So people keep tapping in, because this is how we are going to shift humanity in light waves. And I know, I trust, I believe, I get the messages all the time. And that's why I am here continually sharing them with you, because I want you to believe in the possibilities that you haven't experienced yet. In that space, you can absolutely do anything that you've dreamed and desired throughout this life. So I am just going to give you 3 practical ways to work with this Venus retrograde that's going to help you just drop into your tools instead of always looking to work with anything through the mind. Okay. So one of them is a crystal and it's called citrine. I'm wearing it right now. As you can see, this is just like the light. It's gold, it's orange, it's even white, just like the sun rays when we feel into them. And this crystal is all about confidence. So wear it, sleep with it at night, have it in your pocket, just have it in your field, hold it, get yourself some citrine and let yourself work with this life force energy that comes through this crystal. This is the co-creative practices that we drop into. Another one is mirror work. This is a great, I'm going to say kind of tester to see how deeply you are in connection with yourself, with your love, with your confidence. How long can you look in the mirror and just keep enjoying what you're seeing and dropping in and like noticing the beauty that's looking back at you? And is there a point where you get uncomfortable? Because that shows you where you're trying to look away from yourself and your mission and your purpose here. And this beautiful body, this vehicle that you get to move through this life. So that just shows there's some work to be done, especially on mindsets, limitations on programs that the culture has imprinted in your cells, or even your experience have imprinted in your cells. So there are plenty of ways to work with mirror work. This is why I do mirror work in all of my containers, because it's such a beautiful way to like just fully access where are we at and how can we go deeper. And then the final one that I want to share with you is bumhole sunning. Yeah, this is about supercharging yourself with the light. We have oftentimes taken ourselves out of the light, and this is a time to get supercharged. And those tender areas of your body are an absolute plug-in that are going to boost your immunity. They're going to boost your vitamin D. They're going to boost your mental health, and they're going to boost the light integration in your body. When I was telling you about a couple of weeks ago, when I was ready to throw it all away because I knew I was on that precipice, I was on the edge of breaking through the limitation that I knew I was working with, I finally just went outside and did this kind of sunning 3 days in a row, and I started to get more of a breakthrough. It was a huge supportive energy and co-creation in that light, knowledge within myself, and even in that confidence and that strength that came into my body. Now, this is something that you don't do for a long period of time, maybe a few minutes. You actually know when you've gotten charged, you feel it. So definitely don't burn yourself. Go outside with caution when you do this. But I have had many people who have come down with viruses go out and do this, and they've told me that just kicked the virus right out of me. It is incredible the amount of medicine that we have at our fingertips with everything that we were gifted around us, especially in this planet and in this body. So it's time for us to keep taking our power back and finding these free, easy tools and techniques, but also believing in them and believing in your time and making these your most important job, because everything else is going to elevate in your world from there. And everything is going to elevate in your community and in the collective. So we need to become a global network of light-filled, supercharged, relentlessly self-loved humans, walking around and creating from the soul's blueprint and the soul's purpose and mission that we came here to do. Because then we're going to be living in ease. We're going to be thriving. We're going to be feeling aligned and joyful. And we're going to be unfuckwithable. We're going to create the new systems that we were absolutely meant to come here and pioneer. All right, y'all. I hope that this has been a super supportive episode. Take a screenshot, tag me on Instagram, let me know your biggest takeaway, and let me know how the Venus retrograde is working with you in your personal chart. It's going to be a really big 6 weeks, and I am excited for the ultimate outcome of the elevation in this collective. When we drop in, when we say yes to the dress of this healing journey and growth experience as humans in this beautiful, magnificent paradise. I love you all. And until next time, don't forget to keep looking up.